Good morning, everyone, and welcome to SSJ at Home and our Monday morning video with Father Pat. Father, thanks for joining us today. I know October is Respect Life Month. Sunday was Respect Life Sunday. And I know we had also a special mass for the pro-life movement on Saturday morning. And there's a lot going on with regard to that issue, and especially in October, but every day, I believe. And I want to talk to you today. Deacon Kenneth talked about the topic in his homily this weekend, and you also addressed the sensitivity of this issue in your bulletin article today. And I know you'd like to speak a little bit more about it this morning.
Yeah. So, kind of the point I was making in my bulletin article was, that I'm troubled by the way the church is trying to be silenced about, the pro-life issue. That anytime we try to venture into the waters, and I recognize right now in election season, everything is hyper politicized, but we're immediately accused of being too political. Um, the church uh, must talk about matters of conscience, and life is certainly the greatest matter of conscience, and so we must continue to talk about it. We must continue to talk about the issues of abortion and euthanasia and other pro-life issues, war, capital punishment, all of those types of issues, and help us all to form our conscience, to understand, the church's teaching, to understand the gospel, understand what Christ is saying, and how they apply to those issues that are facing society. Um, the church is always clear that we want to just talk about forming conscience. That's what it's about. Is that each of us um, has the right, has the duty to vote as we see fit, and the church certainly can't endorse a political party or a political candidate. Deacon Kenneth can't. I can't. None of us can endorse that, and I understand that. I understand that separation. But the church says that we've got to form our own conscience and vote the way for the candidate and all that we feel is right. And I'm certainly for that. It's unfortunate now that anytime we venture into talking about the travesties of abortion or euthanasia or topics like that it's immediately assumed that we're talking in a partisan way, that it has become such a partisan issue, that the parties have become so divided, so radically divided. Pointed out in my article, I I used to, think that, well, okay, you can justify supporting a candidate who says that, they want abortion to be legal, but rare, and that, there is some pro-life connotation there. They do want to make abortion rare, but these days, the issue of abortion and the issue of a life, outside, even killing a baby outside the womb or in the third trimester, just it's just such a travesty. And Pope Benedict, before he was Pope Benedict, Cardinal Ratzinger, back in 2004, said that that not all moral issues have the same weight as abortion and euthanasia. And he specifically pointed out, he said, there may be a legitimate diversity of opinion even among Catholics about waging war and applying the death penalty, but not, however, with regard to abortion and euthanasia. Deacon Kenneth talked about the non-negotiables in his homily, and about abortion and euthanasia specifically. Those are non-negotiable. I like what David Mills, who wrote an article for our Sunday Visitor, had to say about why we find these issues of life, um, why they are so fundamental and why they are so primary there. Whereas Catholics were not single issue voters. The gospel of life isn't just the gospel of the unborn life. And the church has certainly said that Catholics can vote for a pro-life candidate as long as it's not the main reason, it's not the reason that you're voting for the candidate. But David Mills said, that gave kind of an explanation of why abortion is a preeminent issue. He said, abortion is the issue that most reveals what a candidate thinks about all other issues, whatever his official policies are. It shows what he really thinks of the human person and therefore what kind of society he wants to create. It's a focusing issue, the clearest expression of a practical commitment either to obey the moral law and protect the integral good of the human person or reject them. He goes on to ask, how seriously can we take a candidate's claim to help the poor if he doesn't care if they live or die before birth? If he believes human dignity is something we choose to give them by letting them be born, not something they have. That really kind of sums it up, that as we form our conscience, we should recognize the importance of the issues of abortion, euthanasia. That's not to say who we should support or which candidate, and there certainly are legitimate reasons for supporting candidates, and we all have to make that we have to form our conscience and make that decision. But the church does teach that abortion and euthanasia, the policies there are non-negotiable. That we must, as a church, preach and act pro-life, particularly when it comes to those issues.
Father Pat, thank you. We are inside a month before the election, November the 3rd, first Tuesday in November. And throughout the next few weeks, we'll be passing along articles from the USCCB and other sources with regard to this campaign season, just as a guide for folks who look in on our SSJ at Home. So, Father, thanks for being with us today.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good week.